Oh, okay, we're live. Ignore the fact that the stream title currently says it's the CD55 Direct. It's not, it's a Jaydreamer Direct. Get it right. Apologies for the bad microphone, because I do not have my regular microphone on me. So, you'll just have to live. Oh my god, the thumbnail is still CD55 Direct. I don't have a thumbnail, I forgot about that. How do I change the thumbnail? It's okay, I'll change the thumbnail later. It's not the CD55 Direct, it's a Jaydreamer Direct. Get it right. Give me a second. Apologies to all the people I'm pinging right now. Ignore the thumbnail, please. I know the thumbnail is wrong! You don't need to tell me about the thumbnail, I know it's wrong. I'm not making the thumbnail right now. I'll make it after the stream's over. Just need to bring the chat here. Wherever the chat's gone. Hang on, there it is. I'm gonna wait for a few more people to join, and then we will get started with the Jaydreamer Direct. And yes, I've made a PowerPoint. Hello. I'm just checking if people are there. How bad's my mic? Tell me honestly. We're vibing, for real. We're gonna do Jaydreamer Direct 2024 edition, because I've not done a Direct in forever. Like, it's been so long that last time I did one, my username was different, so... You have no standards. Yeah, damn right, your mic sucks now! Damn right, your mic sucks. Okay, so setup right now, I've got my laptop, I've got my second screen. I don't usually have my second screen. I've got chocolate. Yeah, so I have a PowerPoint for the Direct. And hopefully I've not missed anything, because... Also, just to mention, I've not actually written any notes. I mean, I had, like, my brief, like, rundown, and obviously I've got all the slides. But other than that, I'm just gonna be talking randomly. So, It'll be like, on the screen there's going to be a conversation topic, I'll start talking about it, and then once I'm done I'll move. So we don't know how long this direct is going to last, it's just however long it takes for me to get through the PowerPoint. There's like, how many slides is there of this? There is 64 slides. I didn't actually realise until now that there were 64 slides, but, well, you know, we'll get through it. So, yeah, you know what, we'll just stop. So, Jaydreamer Direct 2023/2024 edition. I don't know if it's 2023 or 2024, by the way, Happy New Year's. Because I'm talking about the stuff I did in 2023 and also the stuff you can expect me to do in 2024. So it's kind of both. I'm making this a yearly thing now. Okay, so, before we begin, this is what we're going to be talking about. Give me a second. Okay, so, the itinerary of events. We're going to be starting with the OC snippets, and then we'll be talking about Crystal Desires, Light's End. What's Light's End? We'll get to that. Show the Stars. We haven't heard that name in a while. Then we'll have an intermission, and then we're going to be talking about the Ascosverse. So, we're doing everything, and then the Ascosverse last, because the Ascosverse has the most stuff to talk about, I think. And then we're going to have our usual Q&A segment, and then my quote-unquote final thoughts. To be fair, there's no use in me disguising the fact that there is going to be a thing at the end. There is a thing at the end. So, if we're all ready. Oh, also I have a laser pointer. I forgot about that. I forgot about a laser pointer. Okay. The OC snippets! Or however I say that. So, we're going to be talking about the behind the scenes of basically all of the snippets, because last time I had a direct, these things didn't exist. So, yeah. We're going to be starting with Ace of Hearts. So, look at the behind the scenes of Coin Flip. The trilogy of Coin Flip, which includes Coin Flip Heart to Heart and Outer Worlds. Behind the scenes of how this works, as you can see, it was all drawn traditionally. I'm actually going to take my headphones off so I can hear myself better. So it was all drawn traditionally, and for the first snippet you can see like the quality is a bit lower. That's because I drew it on different paper. That's in a completely different sketchbook. And I realised that when I scanned it in it looked like that, so I decided to switch over to some better quality paper, and that's why it looks a bit better in the next two. So the first one is, we got Arion, who is the main character, and they're half human and half reverie, which reveries are from the sleep realm, and in the sleep realm there's reverie and vagary, and the cards are dictating their life, I suppose. That's a bit of a spoiler, but basically everyone has a playing card, including Arion. Arion's card is the Joker. So when they find out that they're the Joker, they're like, oh, that's a bit weird. And also, no, there is no two Jokers. Like, most of the cards there's only one, actually. So it's not like a regular set of playing cards, but it's close enough. So it turns out that Arion's mum is actually a reverie, and she's like been in hiding for however long. I don't actually know how long, just for a while. But yeah, the first snippet is like, Arion goes into the sleep realm. They go to Rivaria, and they meet this person called Cooper, who is totally not relevant in actual Ace of Hearts. And then the second one is, Arion tries to talk to the Queen of Rivaria, and she's just like, oh, you're a weirdo, go away. So they do go away. They go into Vargaroth. And in Vargaroth they talk to that queen, Queen Winter. Queen Winter's a lot more nicer. But then she's like, oh, by the way, the Queen of Rivaria used to be a lot nicer too, but then something happened. And then, the guards from Bravaria's castle come and try and get Arion, and Arion's like, oh shit, so they've got to run away. And so in the third one, they run away to the outer world, which is where these three people live, called Zinnia, Martin, and Delmar. And those three are, like, outcasts from society. Zinnia's outcast because she's half Reverie, half Vargary. Delmar's outcast because they're, like, gender non-conforming, like Arion is. And then Martin's outcast because he's a human. He's not Reverie or Vargary at all. He's, like, a full-on human. He's a lucid dreamer, which in this world means that, like, he can travel to the sleep realm when he's asleep. And also he's voiced by Luke Pokeverse. He's voiced by Luke Pokeverse. Hello. I've also included some music here. So let me turn my laser pointer off. I've included some music because Ace of Hearts has music, and I created all of the music on my own. So we're gonna for every single Ace of Hearts snippet, there is a song that is named after the snippet. So this is Coin Flip, for example. This is when I was, like, first, like, experimenting with making music. I would say that the later music is a bit better than this. But also, Coin Flip is a remix of a theme that played before this called The Joker, which is, like, Arion's theme. This one is Heart to Heart. This plays when Arion is talking to the Queen of the Valkyrie. Now, if you remember how that goes, Outer World sounds like this. Wow, that's really similar. I wonder if that means anything. It's not like it's a remix for a reason. It's not like those two characters are related or something, you know? Yeah, Mew and leitmotifs. Speaking of leitmotifs, I didn't put it in this PowerPoint, but throughout all of Outer World, there is a lot of leitmotifs. Well, specifically instruments. So I guess I could talk about it with Outer World, the titular track. So the weird oh, I don't want to talk about Crystal Desires yet. So the weird synth bit is the synth bit is Arion. Arion is the synths. Like the weird strings, I think is Zinnia. And then it's kind of a square noise. The square noise is Delmar. So like kind of 18-bit kind of noise, that's Delmar. And then Martin is the drums. Which is like it's a wood block. That's Martin. And like the entirety of Outer World is just those instruments playing into each other, depending on like who's talking. So I'm very proud of the soundtrack for Outer World. Okay, you did see a spoiler, so Crystal Desires time. Crystal Desires! I decided to kind of revive it by making OC snippets out of it. And the catch with these is that I actually based them all off of the old storyboards, which still exist. Because we were going to make Season 3, and we were on track to make Season 3, but then this little thing called Sunnyside Royals of Korra happened. No. The actual reason is because just we had art problems. I mean, most of the Wise group had art problems. But yeah, Season 3 is entirely scripted, entirely recorded, I believe, minus a few voice actors, and also, like, I'd say around the first half of it is all storyboarded. It's just some of those storyboards are missing still. I found quite a lot of them, actually, like a surprising amount I've been able to, like, archive. But anyway, the OC snippets of Crystal Desires, they are based off the old storyboards. So, for example, the first run I did, Kindness, was storyboarded by Creative Cupid, who also did this next one, Apathy. They also did Apathy. As an addition, I'll go back to Kindness. So, as I said, like, all the lines were already recorded, so I was just, like, reusing those. But for Beryl, I actually re-recorded her lines. Because if you didn't know, I actually voice Beryl. And you can't really hear the Beryl voice past my bad microphone. But I do voice Beryl, and I think I'm still kind of good at the voice. I'm a bit rusty, but it's still there somewhere. Well, to be fair, Beryl speaks a bit more like this when she's, like, not evil. So, she's more like my regular voice when she's not evil. There you go, you got your Beryl cameo. Blue's not here, but... Okay, we talked about Apathy. Next one is Deceit, which was boarded by Jet to the Moon. And I have a fun thing to say about this one, which is that Jet had original storyboards for this, but I'm actually still talking to Jet, like, now, like, we still talk sometimes, and they actually redrew the storyboards specifically so I could use them for Deceit. And I think that's just, I appreciate them a lot for that. Like, they didn't have to do that, but they, like, completely reboarded it, and I used those boards. So, yeah. I mean, I would show the old boards, but I'm one for not wanting to show my old art, so I will not show other people's old art if they do not want people to see it, so... But no, Jet made it a lot more gay, so... Thank them for making it a lot more gay. I can see the next slide, and I did not include Loyalty, because Loyalty, I did not use a storyboard for it, even though, after the fact, like, I finished drawing all the frames, and then I went back to the Crystal Desires server, and guess what I found? I found the storyboard for that specific scene, and I didn't use it because I thought it didn't exist, but it does. So, whoops. No, I did not include that one, so whoops. Okay, we will move on to Metamalaya, Project Metamalaya, which is an Askel's first thing. I guess I, like, conveyed the plot of the Ace of Hearts one, so I've got to convey the plot of this. So, Metamalaya is the good old Amig DLC. So, in Frivo, when Alara was gonna go to Amig, this is what she would have seen if it was programmed in. Me mentioning programming is funny, but I'll get to that bit later. So it's basically what Basil went through when he went to the Amig region with Trent and Salem. And first episode is like him getting the letter, second episode is him on the boat, third episode is Blake is dead, fourth episode is Basil has to look after Larsa, and then Basil is the one who puts Larsa into the anachronistic orphanage or whatever it is, you know? And by that I mean, it's like 2005, why do orphanages exist? they don't exist, really, anymore. But yeah, Basil takes Larsa to the orphanage in the final one, and then other stuff happens too, because turns out that, like Frivo, Metamalaya was a simulation. But, like, in Pandora it said, you know, the simulation was created so Peter could, like, relive his own memories. That's what Basil is going through. Basil is reliving his own memories. He is reliving Metamalaya. So this actually happened, but it's Basil viewing a simulation of what he already experienced. Because, long story short, Axial invented therapy too. He thought that Project Pandora could be used for a better cause, as he said in Timeline B. Yeah, timeline B, he said, you know, oh, we could have used Pandora to better the lives of everyone, but you're too selfish, you just want to help your son. So, in timeline A, Asiel does actually do that. He uses the machine to help the lives of others. So he helps Basil heal from his trauma by creating Project Metamillia. The reason why it's called Project Metamillia is because I think Metamillia is like the daughter of Pandora. It's either the daughter or the granddaughter of Pandora. So it's basically the successor to Pandora. Thank you to the bot on my Discord for announcing the stream. I'm glad it only pinged me. But yeah, it's a simulation of Basil's own memories which Basil is experiencing. But like, Basil like tries to do a similar thing that Alara did. Alara? What? Yeah. Basil tries to do a similar thing that Alara did when she was in the simulation of Frivo, where he wants to like change what happened, but then that's kind of counter to what the point of him reliving the memories is. The point is for him to like accept that he did that and be okay with it. Like, he can go like, you know, I did that for a good reason. Because he like blames himself basically for what happened just in general. But like, now he's actually able to come to terms with what he did and like is able to heal from it. So, happy ending. And also, to add on to that, so Project Metamillia is actually based off a fanfic I wrote called Ascos vs. the Yamag DLC. I wrote this back in like 2021 for like Halloween, and literally all of the Metamillia stuff is adapted from this, and I would say that like basically this fanfic is what actually happened, like the actual event, not the simulation event. The actual event is what is told in Ascos vs. the Yamag DLC. I like how the notes say Trent has a strong Frisian accent and then his voice actor is like really American. But like, we ignore that. Would you like to relive your trauma as a simulation? Yes. Okay, so next we will be talking about... I've got to take my thing off so I'm not boiling. Okay, next thing. Sinister Grin. Sinister Grin was very fun because I get to talk about the art, which is literally the reason why I put it here, so I can talk about the art. So, let's get out my laser pointer. So, laser pointer. So, as you can see, this is Aquila, Queen Aquila of Viz, the first queen of Delwis. And she created this thing called Valiquish. I'll be talking about Valiquish later in the Ascosverse section. But Aquila and her, like, you know, her second-in-command, Jovito, they make Valiquish by fusing these 5 things together. An interesting thing to mention is that all of Sinister Grin is done in this, like, monochrome yellow, right? But then, these guys are coloured, and the reason why is because when things are fully coloured, it means that they're not of this world. So, as you can see, these guys are like monochrome but in a different colour, so it's kind of like they don't belong in this world, but also they're not too, like, far from it. And then there's Valiquish, who is fully coloured. And so is Grimace. Grimace is not here, but Grimace is also fully coloured, because Valiquish and Grimace, not of this world. Like, they're unnatural, basically. This is also, here's some character designs, because these 2 characters got introduced in Sinister Grin. So we have Jovito and Ray. So Jovito and Ray, they actually have colour references. They are full body colour references here, so if you ever wonder what they look like, besides from being monochrome yellow. Also, just to point out, totally a coincidence that Ray has coloured eyes. Nobody else has coloured eyes besides from Ray. I wonder what that means. Yeah, Grimace the Pokemon. People don't get that joke yet. Okay, well, That's all I really wanted to say for Sinister Grim, but I do like the art style I went for. It's like kind of storybook-esque, I would say. Okay, next one is Eternal Twilight, which, like Sinister Grim, it's also like monochrome, but it's monochrome purple, mostly. Like, basically, the people in purple are of the Latimer bloodline, and the people in yellow are of the Aviz bloodline. So we have, you know, Florin is from the Latimer bloodline, Pauletta is from the Aviz bloodline. And then we have Larsa confronting himself, and I didn't include this here, which I probably should have, but basically whoever is wearing the crown is quote-unquote the one who's in control. So that's why this other Larsa is wearing the crown. I mean, this other Larsa is actually just Blake, like, kidding Larsa. He kills his own son. But, like, he presents himself as, like, quote-unquote evil Larsa from Lavender, and then we have actual Larsa, so it's basically him having a talk with himself, but also it's not himself, it's actually Blake. And also there's this with the souls, which, you know, those totally don't mean anything. It's like, all those souls got fused together because Valakwish kept eating them. So yeah, if I point out, so the big one is Blake, and then we have Pauletta, Aquila, Eric, Mihai, and Florin. Yeah, that would be it. That's all of them. Lost Soul isn't included in here, but like, it probably would be. Like, this is what it looks like for Blake, but Lost Soul would have like an extra one. Because souls can be combined, and people can have several different souls inside of them at once, which is totally not important lore for anything that I might be talking about later in the direct. Okay, next one. Pen Pal. Pen Pal is a Raywood snippet. Raywood is a comic that I draw sometimes. It is currently on hiatus. But I am drawing Pen Pal in the meantime. So, it's a sneak peek. I've got like 6 pages to show you of Pen Pal. So, let's have a read. Pen Pal, a Raywood snippet. Raywood Academy, 1982. Was that the bite of 82? Now remember, class, your pen pals are due to be sent a letter tomorrow morning, so please hand them in to me as soon as possible. Tomorrow? I completely forgot. That afternoon. I am not good at English. My name is Hiroko Katsuri. Who are you? And then they trade letters. Don't worry, Katsuri. I'm not good at Japanese. My name is Ryan Pilsner. It's nice to meet you. And then the next few pages are of a future scene, so there's stuff that happens in between this scene and the next one I'm going to show you. Oh, too far. So we have Katsuri on the bus, and she gets off the bus, and now she's in Osaka. Ah, caught you. You must be Ryan. Katsuri. And then there's something that she can't really understand. Can you not talk? I can't understand what you're saying, but I want to. You're unbelievable. So yeah, Pen Pal is like about the language barrier between these two characters of Katsuri and Ryan. So Ryan only speaks English and Katsuri only speaks Japanese. So it's an entire like story of them like learning to understand one another, and maybe them developing a relationship as they do so. It's cute. It is pretty cute. And also it's relevant to the overall plot of Raywood. But, you know, we'll talk about Raywood later. Okay, next thing, we're going to talk about more OC snippets. So we're going to talk about Virgil's Vigil, which is it's a Seymour's Obituary snippet. It's like a sequel to Seymour's Obituary. I mean, we'll just watch the clip. There's no use in me explaining it. If the clip plays. Can the clip actually play? There we go. Oh, Ascot's for a snippet, hang on. That's not an error.
There you are. You see, this guy was in Sea Mall.
I know that guy. Who are they voiced by?
Then I remember that you two used to work on Sea Mall when it was still active. Do you think you could help him?
Hello. You two must be Faraday and Doc. I'm Virgil Cosmo.
Cosmo? So that must mean you're Yua's son.
Yes, Raizo Cosmo is my uncle.
Virgil, if you wish to know the truth, I believe this belongs to you.
This... I was looking for this. This was my mother's title belt. How did you get this?
When I was working on C. Marville, I stole it from Raizo.
And then I helped to summon Lugia, and we used a terrible machine upon it in order to extract its life force.
Raizo always kept a bell on his person, and sometimes, when we were up top at C. Marville, that bell would ring, and it would almost seem to glow. It sure was mysterious, alright. I've held on to it all these years, but I'd be happy if it could serve you some use now.
That's the clip, that's it. Wow, I wonder who May is voiced by. Anyway, so yeah, that's C-Marvel's obituary. Yo! One of the C-Marvel people are in the chat. Hell yeah. Yeah, there we go. We got Virgil's Vigil, which is a C-Marvel slash Asgard's First snippet. It's kind of both. You'll understand why. I mean, to be fair, you understand why. It's because it has Virgil Cosmo in it. Virgil Cosmo is my own original character, who, if you don't remember, he was in Short 3. By the way, the Asgard's First shorts were like 3 years ago now. Do you feel old? He was in Asgard's First Short 3. He is Atiel's dad. And in the snippet, he says that Raizo Cosmo was his uncle. So that makes it so, Yua, who is Atiel and Alora's grandmother, her brother was Raizo. So, family tree time. That's why it's the Asgard's First. It's got Virgil in it, and that's why it's called Virgil's Vigil. So, he's holding a vigil for his dead uncle. But yeah, timelines, am I right? Anyway. Future snippet ideas. We're gonna be talking about this. So, Fallen Angel, which I did it was an animatic slasher snippet. Like, I was kind of on the line of whether it should be a snippet or an animatic. It's kind of both. It's the one with Emma Rusito. And just... yeah, it's the one with Emma Rusito. And how she, recreates the world. And then it becomes a Metopia AU, so... it is a Metopia AU. So, this is actually a screenshot from another animatic that I did start, but I never finished it. So maybe one day this will see the light of day. One of the things I'm considering on doing with Fallen Angel is because the whole point is that it's like a crossover AU. I was considering maybe doing an animatic for each character to, explain how they got there. Because, the one that exists right now, Story of Undertale, that explains how Emma got there. So I'm thinking of maybe explaining how the other guys got there. So, the other guys are... I need to remember, so there's Emma, and then there's Impact OC-Tail, Sayonara from OC-Tail, there's Harvey from Raywood, there's Alora from the Asgard's First, there's Raven and Sharon from Mahuna Metal, there's Natasha from Raywood, there's Riley from Ace of Hearts, and then there is Anton. Anton is one of my Dungeons & Dragons OCs. So that's 10. I think I counted 10. So it's basically a whole crossover review featuring these 10 characters and how Emma is mind-controlling them through the power of song. So, basically all the animatics would be other songs. So, the whole point is that it's like a quote-unquote musical. It's kind of more of a jukebox musical, I suppose, but yeah. Second idea, the T in OC Snippets, which, if I go all the way back to the logo... So, this O stands for OC-Tail. This C is the Asgard's Verse, this S is Crystal Desires, the N is Show the Stars, the I is Mahuna Metal, the P is Ace of Hearts, this other P is Raywood, this E is C-Marvel's Obituary, this S is Fallen Angel, and then we have the T, which, I have to go all the way back to the T, The T stands for SS Seashell. SS Seashell is an idea for a project that I've had for... It's pretty new, I'd say. It's a pretty new idea. But it's kind of like... not a musical, per se, but it's got songs in it. And it focuses around Horacio. So Horacio is like, he wants to be a sailor, he wants to be a pirate, but he's actually just this really autistic guy. The best way to describe it is that he has autism about boats. And then he meets this girl called Evie, and it turns out that Evie's actually a mermaid. And so he needs to keep the secret that mermaids exist, basically. So the whole plot is just basically Horacio is being really autistic, and Evie is trying to not expose mermaids existing. Yeah. Also we have the Ascalspheres, which, for an Ascalsphere snippet idea, so obviously I've had Metamalia, I've had Virgil's Vigil and Sinister Grin, Eternal Twilight. This one will be called Gracidia. And Gracidia is going to follow Wyatt and Colin, as you can see. And the idea is that it's basically following their lives and what happened after Project Pandora as well. So probably the first one would be like them meeting for the first time, so like this image. And then the other ones would be after Pandora, in Timeline A specifically, as to what happened next, basically. And that would be what Gracidia is. It'd be a pretty long one, I'd say. It would basically be like its own mini-series. But if I was to do that, it'd probably come after Edelweiss. So, yeah. We'll talk about Edelweiss later, but it'll come after Edelweiss if I do that. So... He's got boatism. Boatism. Okay, another idea for a snippet is Crystal Desires, which has its own slide. Because, as I said before, I've been, like, archiving all the old storyboards. So there is several storyboards that I can pick from to do snippets. So there's ones by Jet, so these bottom two are by Jet, these top two are by another artist that I will need to look up their name. I know what their name is, it's in the server somewhere. Give me a second, I'll find out. I will find out what their username is, because I wrote it down. Spicy Cats, there we go. Their name is Spicy Cat. And they did these two, and Jet did these two. So... the best to explain these scenes is that this is a scene with Emily and Donovan, and it's basically Donovan talking to Emily about what Flora was like. So it's basically, oh, your mother was so cool, and Emily's just like, oh, that's cool. This second one is probably one of the ones that I'm probably going to do first, which is Damien and Carlos have a conversation, where it's basically Damien going, hey, you treated my wife like absolute shit. This one is, there's a scene where Beryl finds Flora's diary, and then she reads Flora's diary and, like, finds out more stuff about Flora. This last one is, this is Alice, who is a very, like, obscure Crystal Desires character, I'd say. But Alice was, like, she was originally, like, Carlos's, like, right-hand lady, and she died during a fight with Flint. And so this is the fight with Flint, basically. So this snippet would be entirely a fight scene. Which I've never really done a proper fight scene, besides from the Mahuna Metal one, so... Speaking of Crystal Desires, what if I made a revival of Crystal Desires? This is an actual Premiere Pro project of me making episode 1. Because most of episode 1 is actually there, like... most of episode 1 is just, and also, if you see here, this is actual art, like, this is actual art done for episode 1, and this is Mystic Rose art as well, like, the original artist from Crystal Desires did these frames. So, at some point, maybe this will release, Crystal Desires Season 3, Episode 1, revived, I suppose. It's only missing a few scenes, which again, I'm really surprised that most of episode 1 is there. So maybe one day, like probably after I finish the Ascos first, like after Edelweiss again, after Edelweiss again, I'm gonna revive Crystal Desires maybe. And maybe I'll revive the entire Wise group while I'm at it, we'll see. Okay, so on the topic of Crystal Desires, have you ever wanted to see a project that was set in the same world as Crystal Desires? That's right, I'm talking about Show This to I Mean Light's End. So, this is the part where I plug Light's End. So, Light's End is set in the same world as Crystal Desires. It is set about 60 years after the events of Crystal Desires. So what happened in Crystal Desires is canon. And it features these 3 characters. We have a traitless person, a person with 2 traits, and a person with just 1 trait. But yeah, we have Dr. Solana Altair, who, as I said before, she is traitless. So, to explain the plot, or like what these characters are about, Solana is traitless, and because of this, she's been looked down upon within society. Like, she's been seen as lesser because she doesn't have any magic. But I'll get onto this bit in a second, but she's looked down upon because she doesn't have any magic. So she decides that, she sees like everyone around her is experiencing corruption, because, to recap, corruption is what happens when you go against your trait. So everyone has a trait, which is like a certain emotion, and then their magic is fueled by that. But then the opposite of that trait is, basically that's what corruption is. And corruption can get like really bad to the point of like you lose your sanity kind of deal. So it is like a pretty like big problem. So she decides, oh, I'm gonna help people by making sure that corruption is like not cured, but basically we stop corruption before it begins, or like we help people like heal from it. Because the thing with corruption is that it never really disappears, and if it did disappear, that would kind of be a bad thing, but like, I won't explain why because it's kind of spoilers, but basically corruption will never disappear, but they're trying to find a way to like, you know, make people fear it less, I suppose. Like, corruption isn't entirely a bad thing, which I also will not get into because that's also a spoiler, but yeah. Also, here is Solana using magic, even though I said that she's traitless and she can't use magic. That's because these little things around her can help her use magic, which, by the way, is a spoiler for next week's update of Light's End, but next week you'll learn about that, but it's not really a spoiler when it's, like, next week, so. Speaking of Light's End, there was an update today, and I didn't actually tell people that it updated today, but I will do that. Next we have Dr. Erin Mintaka. This is Erin, and she is from Asteria, so she's from the place where Crystal Desire was set. And her whole deal is that when she was younger, her brother was corrupted, and then her brother attacked her. But then, obviously, like, she didn't really take that to heart, but, like, the reason why her brother was corrupted in the first place is because a few years before Light's End happens, there was a war. There was a war between Asteria and Vesperia. So Vesperia has completely different magic from Asteria, and basically for, like, the whole, like, 40, 60 years that passed in between Crystal Desires and this, is Vesperia was planning to attack Asteria. And Asteria, like, suffered really badly from the effects of this war, to the extent that Erin plus, like, other people had to move away from Asteria. They had to emigrate from Asteria to Solaria. So a lot of, like, immigrants from Asteria came to Solaria during that time. Erin was one of those people, and so was, like, her entire family. And because of that, she doesn't want, like, the younger generation to suffer in the way that she did. So it's basically just, like, I was hurt in the past, but I'm gonna make sure that other people aren't gonna be hurt as well. I'm just gonna casually circle around this image on the right, and then move on. Because, ooh, I wonder what this means. Anyway. Here we have Kelvin, or Kel, Rigello. Keep a note of the name of Rigello. If you know your Jaydreamer lore, this should be like, you know, you should be remembering this. Anyway, so Kel is a teenager who has two traits. Two-traitedness is a rare occurrence, but he has two traits. He has basically lime green and red, which in every single continent the magic is different. So if he was in Asteria, this would be determination and loyalty. But since he's in Solaria, it's actually forgiveness and confidence. And basically his whole deal is that he's corrupted, even though he's a teenager. And so something happened to him that he won't really talk about, and he will talk about it in a later chapter, but for now, he's not talking about what happened. And he is like the new patient of the two doctors, and they're trying to figure out what is up with him. As you can see, like, his corruption is like, I'd say like mid on the scale. So like, you've got low corruption, you've got mid corruption, you've got like super corruption, I suppose. But like, he's kind of on the middle of the scale of how bad corruption can be. And he doesn't want to be corrupt. Like, he doesn't want to be corrupt, but he doesn't want to face, like, what caused the corruption in the first place, which is kind of what's making it worse. Yeah, he has electricity powers, because that's what loyalty / confidence does. It has electricity powers. Also, I'm going to show you the prologue of Light's End. So, long, long ago, the world of Nova was granted with the gift of magic. The sun shone a brilliant pink hue, and we were blessed with creatures known as Amika. But even from the very beginning, there were certain members of society who found themselves without magic. Side note, wow, oh my god, it's Evie from SS Seashell! They have been called many names throughout the years: virtueless, magicless, unaligned, or simply traitless. As society began to develop, people with certain Amika types flocked to certain regions, creating the continents as we know them today. So here we have, Asteria, Thalaria, Eclipsa, Vesperia, Estellaria, Selenia, Polaria. So the ones that have been mentioned before is, obviously, Asteria is where Crystal Desires is, Solaria is where Light's End is, Eclipsa is where Show the Stars is, Vesperia and Asteria had a war, Selenia is, important to Crystal Desires. The only one that's not really been brought up is Estellaria and Polaria. But the traitless people had nowhere to go, being forced to live inside of a world that refused to accommodate them. Many suffered at the hands of the magical, treated as lesser because of their condition. But there was one thing that made traitless people stronger. A dark power known as corruption would start to plague the magical, turning them into monsters. The traitless, however, were immune. Many would start to see the magic as curse that led to nothing but destruction. And those people ended up being right. They dreamt for centuries, for a chance to be seen as not lesser, but equal. To have power. That power is now within our grasp, dear. Wow, I wonder what that means. Anyway, if you want to read Light's End, Chapter 3 is going to be finished as of next week. So there is 3 chapters so far. And you can read it on Webtoon, obviously just called Light's End, Tapaz, Light's End. You can read it on Comic Fury. And you can also read it on DeviantArt, where it's just under my DeviantArt, which is Jaydreamer55, because I can't change the username. I can't change the username, it's just going to eternally be Jaydreamer55. But yeah, if you want to read Light's End, it's on these 4 platforms. It updated today. So there is an update on Webtoon and Tappers and Comic Fury right now. The only place that's not updated is DeviantArt. I have to do that manually. But yeah, I will upload it to DeviantArt after the stream. But if you want to read Light's End, these are all the places you can read it in. I would probably recommend Comic Fury because the formatting is cool on there. Like, you can edit the HTML and stuff, so I did that. So yeah. I mentioned Show the Stars, so here's Show the Stars. Show the Stars Echo is a comic idea that I have, which maybe will happen this year. As you can see, it focuses on Emily and this is Yvette. Yvette got a redesign. Basically everyone got a redesign. I should also mention that Show the Stars, I'm considering of doing a reboot at some point. Like, I want to redo the comic because there's a lot of ideas I have that weren't really executed well in the original comic. So, basically, this epilogue is set inside of, like, the reboot verse, I suppose. So, it's basically just a pitch for, like, what the reboot would be like, essentially. So we have Emily, we have Yvette, we have this new character called Damien, which there was another character called Damien, and yes, they are related. So, the original Damien from Show the Stars... What? No. The original Damien from Crystal Desires is this guy's, like, great-grandfather. So he's Damien the Second. But he's, like, relevant to this story. And then in the background we can see Donovan, and we can see... Well, that's Kel, so we'll see how Kel's relevant in this comic, you know? Also, this is the beta. Like, I didn't start this comic, but this is 2021, I think I did this in, where, you know, Yvette, is trying to cast a spell, and because it's, like, a certain type of spell, she has to go to Asteria. And so her and Emily go on a field trip to Asteria, and then while they're there, they meet Damien. So, yeah. Yeah, I talked about the reboot. Here's some more concept art for the reboot. So, the idea of the reboot is that it actually would start with, like, all the flashback chapters of Show the Stars. It would basically be, like, chronological order. So it would start with, you know, the whole stuff with Emily's parents and Zachary and Ruben and how all that went down. And then it would focus on Emily. So, originally this character was called Trent. Not like Trent Ascos, different Trent. But this guy was called Trent. His name is now Des. His name is Desmond. Oh, Des, for short. And then we have Ruben Zachary. This name is wrong. Her name is Freya, not Fiona. This is Freya, who originally was Show the Stars Flora, which was like a different character. But now she is her own character. She's also an elf now, which is relevant because, like, not really mentioned in the comic much, but Yvette is her, like, mum, so. Yeah, my effing cousin killed my effing wife, Dad. Yeah, so I figured out the family tree, and it turns out that now, Desmond and Zachary are cousins. So I might play with that a bit, you know? It's basically, Dez's dad, and then Dez's dad's brother. Dez's dad's brother is Zachary's dad. Wait, no. Dez's dad's sister is Zachary's mom. Wrong one. But yeah, family trees, am I right? Okay, speaking of comics. Raywood. So Raywood Academy is the comic I've been working on ever since 2020. So that means that this is the 4th year of it existing. Oh god. Like in August it'll be 4 years old. Christ. So to pitch Raywood Academy, it's a slice of life anime. Well, it's like a slice of life anime, but as a comic, and also written by someone who's not from Japan. But it's a slice of life, but then it turns into more of a crime drama in a weird way, which I promise it makes sense when you actually read it, but it becomes more of a crime drama, I'd say. So I've been actually, like, reworking all the old pages into something, like, more, like, I guess more consistent. I've not, like, edited the art, but I've made, like, the text and everything a bit clearer. That's because, at some point this year, I'm going to dub Raywood Academy. Raywood Academy is going to get a comic dub. And we're going to go probably up until the end of Season 1, and then we'll see where we go from there. So, for example, this is from Season 1. Episode 6, Part 1 is called Matcha Lemonade. Wait, no, sorry. This one is Cooking? It's something like that. The second one is Matcha Lemonade. Part 2 is Matcha Lemonade. This is Cooking Lessons, I think it's called. But no, here's the season 2 banner, so all the people who were important in season 2. Here's some stuff from season 2 as well. We have episode 19 part 1. We have episode 21. Episode 21 doesn't exist yet, but that's the next episode of Raywood, which is gonna be in 2024 at some point. So episode 21 Bluebird. So yeah, there's gonna be a comic double at some point. It's either gonna be on my channel, or it's gonna be on a channel called Shadow Library. This is a temporary logo, by the way. This is not the actual logo of Shadow Library. But Shadow Library I've teased before, like, I think in the Ask Us recap was the first time I, like, properly mentioned it. But Shadow Library is a group of people that I work with, like, I say work, but we're all friends. We're a group of friends who are creating some projects. And one of those projects might be the Raywood Academy dub. And the second project is something called Pandora's Box and the Shooting Star. Pandora's Box and the Shooting Star, the best way I can describe it is, you know when I talk about the Asgosverse, and I always mention stuff that happens in Timeline A. This is what happens in Timeline B. This is canonically what happens in Timeline B. So Pandora's Box and the Shooting Star, which by the way is the name of season 1. Don't know if there's going to be other seasons, but we're definitely going to try and do season 1. And season 2 is Pandora's Box and the Azul Legends, which is, it got a different plot, got a different set of characters, etc, etc. So I guess I can introduce you to the cast. Let's start with the people you know. This is Haley from Pokemon Lavender. Haley is a main character of Pandora's Box and the Shooting Star. Other characters you might, well actually, you don't find any of these guys familiar, but Juliet, the one in front, Juliet made like a cameo back in Pandora, like in Project Pandora. So Haley has a Spinder, Juliet has a Ledian. This character over here is Cielo, he has an Ignorol. This is Eileen and her Togepi. That's Maya. This is Inky and his Grovyle. That's Bethany and her Snivy. And this is Klaus. And obviously that's Jirachi, so. But yeah, I'm very excited to like make this be a thing, because this has been in the works for like a while. Like, a bit like Raywood, actually, this is an adaptation of a roleplay, but for Raywood it was just me doing the adaptation. For this, it's going to be like all the people who were in the original roleplay are going to be an active, like, you know, writing this. I'm honestly really excited for it. Like, I'm not even kidding, I am like genuinely like excited to see this. I like how I'm assuming that Doc is on the Shanda Library channel right now. Hi Shanda Library. I'm assuming that's Melody, who's in charge of the channel right now. Yeah, we all have the login to Shanda Library, so, you know, we can all like upload stuff. Other stuff that might be on Shanda Library, as I said, Raywood, but also we have like other projects that we're considering, but Pandora's Box is going to be the main one. Speaking of which, I did make, speaking of which, Pandora's Box is a comic, or probably will be a comic, and it'll be published on like the same places that Lightsand was. And I actually made like a concept for how the comic begins. Like, this isn't canon. I do want to state this is not canon. This is not what actually happens, but it's like a kind of a concept of how it would look, right? So, my name is Alara Cosmo. I'm 22 years old and I'm a Pokemon trainer. I used to be a gym leader, and I have a girlfriend, Haley. But something happened that I fear I can't take back. It all happened so fast. So, this is Project Pandora happening here. After that, I started to have this strange recurring dream. I was alone in a place I didn't recognize. I felt like somebody was watching me. The place I was in seemingly had no end. Until one night, there was a voice. Player, it's time to wake up. And so I did. Intermission! yeah. Again, I'm like genuinely excited to see Pandora's Box happen. Like, even though I drew like the promo like poster and that concept, I'm probably not going to be the main artist because I'm already doing all my own stuff. But I do hope that I get to be like art director of some like description. But yeah, excited for that. Oh, it was Luke on the Chandelier channel. Oh yeah, Pandora's Box has been in the works for over 4 years. Well, including the roleplay that it's actually being adapted from. Yeah, Project Pandora, Pandora's Box, sure there's no connection there, yeah. Intermission. So, it's a very quick intermission. This video is sponsored by JD Studios. JD Studios is at 1,000 subscribers, hell yeah! So, this is my other channel, and turns out that my other channel actually has more subscribers on it. Whoops. It hit 1,000 subscribers like about 2 weeks ago now, and so I'm officially a YouTube partner, and I'm monetized over there. So if you want me to get money, go watch my videos on JD Studios. Here's a confetti transition. Yay! I have 1,000 subscribers. I'm allowed to be proud of myself, I think. So, JD Studios is where I upload all my song covers. Like, I used to do song covers over here, but now they're over there. So, and apparently they do pretty well over on that channel, so. Speaking of which, I'm gonna have a live stream, probably next week. And it's gonna be a celebration of 1,000 subs. And I'm gonna be talking about behind the scenes, and it's gonna be Q&A. And it'll be fun. It'll probably be shorter than this stream, but I'll be streaming over there at some point. And now back to your regularly scheduled content. Thank you for sponsoring this video. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. So back to your regularly scheduled content. This is the part where we talk about the Ascosverse, featuring Pokemon Edelweiss. Because I'm mostly going to be talking about Pokemon Edelweiss, because I've already talked about Virgil's Vigil, and I've already talked about the possibility of Gracidia. So, the next big thing in the Ascosverse is Pokemon Edelweiss. So, Pokemon Edelweiss is set within the Delwis region, as we can see here. So, Delwis is this whole place, it's based on Portugal. Yes, it is a whole place, thank you me. But no, it's based on Portugal. Portugal, but sideways. It's sideways and also not connected to Spain because there's already a Pokemon region based on Spain. Thanks, Game Freak. Paldea kind of screwed me over. But it didn't screw me over too much, it's okay. But yeah, this is the map of Delwis. The final map. It is not changing. I made like 7 other versions of this map. This is the final one. So obviously, you start in Antares. Antares is where you start, and then you go from here, you go like all the way over here, you go there, and then you go back to Antares, and then you go this way, you go down here, you go from here, you go up, up, you go this way, you go there for a bit, you go back here, and then you go back to Antares, and then the Pokemon League is over here. There's also like a post-game area, which is like over here somewhere. But yeah. Don't know what that noise was. Okay, introducing you again to the primary cast of Pokemon Edelweiss. Like, I've already introduced you to these guys in like a previous direct, but I'm reintroducing you to them because they've changed a lot since then. So, Emmett Palm. Emmett Palm is 16 years old and hails from the Ascot region. He came to Delwis with his father. For what reason, even Emmett doesn't know, citing the reason as, I was being called. Emmett isn't much of a talker. He keeps most emotions to himself and only speaks up either when prompted or when he has something important to say. He is also a bit of a people pleaser, taking whichever side will cause the least arguments. And as you can see, he has the fire starter. Canonically, he has the fire starter. So here's Emmett. Woohoo! Next one is Isaac St. Clair. Isaac St. Clair is a 16-year-old trainer hailing from Galar. His family recently moved back to Delvis, his mother being part of the famous band Borealis. Though Isaac feels like he was called here by something. Isaac always tries to be optimistic and see the good in everyone. However, he can be prone to jealousy, especially if someone ends up making him feel inferior. He wishes for all of his friends to have a smile on their face. But in the face of a threat that could wipe out the region, can Isaac really stay positive forever? Oh, he has the water starter. This is Bobat. I should probably mention that this is Calstro. This is Calstro, and this is Bobat. Okay, next is Audrey Xavier. Audrey Xavier is a 17-year-old trainer hailing from the Unova region. She and her father recently moved back to Delvis, her dad and mum being part of the famous band Borealis. Though Audrey feels like she was called here by something. Audrey is a realist, and is always the first to point out contradictions in what others say, which sometimes comes off as rude, getting her into more trouble than it's worth. She's brash with a sarcastic streak, always speaking her mind. She also wishes to prove it to her parents, and prove that she's capable of making her own decisions. And this is Hapstar. Hapstar is like one of the pseudo-legendaries. Casually, she has a pseudo-legendary, I know. Yes. Wait, no, I can't answer that question yet. I can't answer that yet, but I do. Here's Tristan Avila. Tristan Avila is a student of Uber Academy who is visiting Delvis as part of their treasure hunt, so they come from Paldea. They hope to uncover the local myths and legends of the region, and maybe along the way they'll discover something about themselves, too. Tristan, in contrast to Isaac, is a pessimist. They always beat themselves up at the smallest inconvenience, and don't have much self-esteem. However, they're able to open up while talking about their interests, namely Pokemon and myths and legends about Pokemon. They're a well of information and can be a bit nerdy about it, and they have a Sprigatito. So, I think Tristan is the one who's changed the most. Like, Tristan had a completely different role in the original story, but in this version of the story, they're basically, like, kind of like a friendly rival, I suppose, compared to the other two. Like, the other two, like, fight you all the time, but, like, Tristan only fights you, like, a couple times. I guess the best way to describe it is, like, Tristan is, like, the Wally of Delvis. They're a bit like Wally. I mentioned Borealis, so let's go on to them. Borealis is the Elite Foreign Champion of Delvis. So, basically, I don't know how much I want to give away, but 50 years ago, there was this event, and these five got together and they played a song, and that song was able to defeat, like, the thing that happened, right? And so since then they've, like, kind of gone down in history, and, like, they're a really famous band. Like, they're famous because, like, obviously they did that, but also they're famous because they just make good music. So every single member of the Elite Four, and plus the champion, they're all, like, different roles in the band. So, for example, we have Cody, the guitarist, we have Elena, the pianist, we have Dimitri, the saxist, Cornelia, the drummer, and Saphira, the singer. I guess to add on to it, I said that Isaac and Audrey were the kids of some of the people from Borealis. So Elena is Isaac's mum, and Dimitri and Saphira are Audrey's parents, but these two are divorced now for a reason that will be explained in Edelweiss. And Cornelia is Dimitri's sister. So this is Audrey's aunt. So the only one that's not related to anyone is Cody. So yeah. You also, if I need to mention that each one of them has a thing hanging around their neck, which is relevant. I will not mention what it is, but if you find them familiar, that's for a reason. So, another thing with their designs is that they all have a star on them somewhere. Like, their, like, band logo is, like, this star. So, Cody has it on his hat, Alina has it on her earring, Dimitri has it on the jacket, Cornelia has it on, like, the... whatever the hell you call that. And then Saphira has it, you know, shaved into her hair. Also, they all have different earrings. Like, they all have the ears pierced, but they've all got different types of earrings. So Cody has lightning bolts, Alina has the star, Dimitri has, like, 2 hoops, Cornelia has 1, Saphira has, like, these little ones. So yeah. Probably good to mention that these guys all have something hanging around their neck, minus Saphira. There is a reason for that. Who remembers Kedesk? Yeah, they used to be called Kedesk, but now they're called Borealis. now I have a slide of just concept art. So we have the original concept art for the Elite Four, and the original concept art for the 4 main characters. So we have Emmett, Isaac, Tristan, and Audrey. Tristan was a lot more emo back in the day. Emmett, Isaac, and Audrey really haven't changed that much, to be honest. Neither have the Elite Four, really, besides from maybe Cornelia. Because, like, Cornelia's got, like, this hair now. But yeah, here's some, like, this was, like, an old scene. This scene got, like, written out. This scene doesn't happen anymore, but this is, Emmett talking to, like, the first gym leader. This is the first gym leader. Here's some Pokemon concept art that I did as well. There's, we have Diplore, which is, it's a little bug. Belt-Smolder, which is a little whale. Cutie, which is, like, a bug thing. Delwhiston Mantike, which is, like, you know, there he is. And Caracorn as Swisker. Swisker's whole thing is like, it's a literal catfish. It's a cat and a fish. Yeah, there you go. We are going to be talking about Pokemon, by the way. I'm going to be introducing a few of them. So, we're going to be talking about the Calamity Quintet, which featured within Sinister Grin. So, we're going to start with Karask. Karask is Fighting and Ghost type. It's the Conqueror Pokemon. The shell on Karask's back is seen as an omen if stared at from behind, as it will attack and wound you soon afterwards. It is said to eat human souls. So, Karask is based upon a Tarask. It's based upon a Tarask and also a Kappa. So, there you go. Here's Canoxy, which is a Poison and Ghost type, and it's the Glutton Pokemon. Canoxy is rumored to eat misbehaving children, but lives a strictly vegetarian diet. It steals unattended food from windowsills. Canoxy is a lizard, as you can see. Next one is Kafina, a flying and ghost type, the Spirit Guide Pokemon. The sight of Kafina is an omen of incoming tragedy to those that it lands on the roof of. Wherever Kafina leads, Codemdia soon follows. Kafina is an owl, obviously. It only has one eye, which I thought was a cool detail. Here's Kawakwa, which is a water and ghost type. The Shipwreck Pokemon. Kawakwa haunts old shipwrecks and is said to consume the souls of those who drown at sea. If it is ever seen above water, it's an omen of incoming disaster. It's based upon a basking shark, because like the whole like big mouth it's got, that's a basking shark. And, you know, Kafina mentioned Codemdia. So here's Codemdia, who is Dragon and Ghost, and is the merciful Pokemon. Codemdia arrives at the side of the homes of people who are dying in order to put them out of their misery. It usually doesn't eat the departed souls, instead sharing them out with their allies. So, when Codemdia comes, it kills someone and then leaves the soul for the other 4 to eat. So yeah, I guess a good thing to mention is that they all have a overarching theme. They're all based upon the Coco from Portuguese and Spanish mythology, which is like basically their version of the boogeyman, and like depending on like who you ask, like it comes in like different shapes. So all of these are like different shapes that the Coco can appear in, right? And they also have like, they're all based upon like a certain playing card, totally unrelated to Ace of Hearts, by the way. So Karask is Spade, Canoxy is Clover, Kafina is Hearts, Kawakwa is Diamond, as seen on its tail, and Codemdia is Star, as seen on its tail. Star is a suit of card, by the way. You should know this, you watch Ace of Hearts. But, here's Valaquish, as well. So I said in the Sinister Grin section that those 5 get fused together, because, like, they're, like, evil Pokemon. So they all get fused together into Valaquish, which is, like, an amalgamation of all of them. And this is part Enigma. It's Enigma and Ghost. It's the sealed Pokemon. Sealed away by Borealis 50 years ago after being released by an unknown person. The keys sealing it away were stolen from the royal palace and hidden away at the tower guarded by Redacted. So, 50 years ago, as I said, Borealis played a song that was able to subdue Valaquish. And ever since then, Valaquish has been resting in, like, deep beneath the Dallas region. And, like, rumors are saying that, like, one day it'll wake up. But it's guarded by Redacted, which I'm not going to tell you who Redacted is, but you will find out. Okay, we're going to be talking about the mythical Pokemon as well. So, mythical Pokemon. Salasfowl, which is a fire and light type, is the Traveler Pokemon. It is said to be a disciple of a certain legendary Pokemon, blessed with the power of immortality. It wanders the Delvos region searching for a protege. So, Salasfowl is based upon the Roosterabasilos. The Roosterabasilos is like a Portuguese myth where it's like, this guy was arrested for a crime he didn't commit, and he was brought to trial with the judge, and the judge was like enjoying this meal, and on the meal table there was this rooster. And so the guy said, if I'm innocent, then that rooster will come to life. And so as he was about to go get executed, he was about to go get hung, there was like a crow of a rooster, and suddenly the rooster was awake, and so he was spared, because they all saw that as like an act of God or something, right? So Salasfowl is based upon that myth. His whole thing is like an altered version of that. And the certain legendary Pokemon, you're hearing it here first, it's Impalmony. Impalmony made Salasfowl, so... next one is Zanmora, which is kind of the counterpart to Salasfowl. It's Ice and Ghost type, and it's called the Sullen Pokemon. A strange power cursed this Pokemon many years ago to live in a perpetual state of grief. Its wails of sorrow can be heard from over 50 miles away. I don't really know what to say about Zanmora, because there's a lot of stuff, and most of it is spoilers. But I will say that, you know, a strange power cursed this Pokemon. Like, at some point it was not cursed, and it had a different name when it was not cursed. But now it's called Zanmora. And, yeah, when it cries, it can force other people to cry. So, I guess if you've watched Steven Universe, like, you know Blue Diamond's powers, when she cries, it makes other people cry. That's, like, Zanmora's power. But she's the other mythical Pokemon. Again, a counterpart to Salasfowl, because their types are basically opposite. So we got Fire and Light, we got Ice and Ghost. Yeah, there's not really much I can say about her without spoiling stuff, but just know that she exists. And we're also going to introduce you to Grimace. Look at this little shit. I'm introducing you to Grimace because Grimace was in Sinister Grin. So, Grimace is pure Dark type and is the Distrust Pokemon. Grimace is able to sow distrust into the hearts of humans and Pokemon alike. It takes great joy in using the ones it controls as peons for its own amusement. And as we learned in Sinister Grin, the origin of Grimace is that when Queen Aquila Rivers fused together Valaquish, when she had died, her own, like, hatred and mistrust was manifested into Grimace. So basically, Aquila's own hatred became Grimace, and now Grimace is the manifestation of humanity's distrust and hatred and etc. So basically, Grimace never dies, because there will always be hate and evil in the world. But yeah, Grimace is very important, but I won't explain how important they are right now. But all you need to know is that in Sinister Grin, they teamed up with Nico, and most of the stuff that Nico did was something that he and Grimace agreed on. So, I say most of. I'll get to that. This is completely a non sequitur, but I shadow dropped a full cut of Frivo. I shadow dropped a full cut of Frivo. That came out like last week or something. And yeah, it's 2 hours and it's 2 hours and a half of just Frivo. It's all cut together, so I needed to put that in here somewhere, so. I wonder what Enigma and Light types are. You've watched Lavender. You know what Lavender introduced them. Enigma type is like Eldritch Abominations, Light type is like holy stuff. Also, the Asgosverse has a TV tropes page, which, I literally was editing it this morning, so, TV tropes, to explain what it is, it's basically a list of, like, tropes that you see in shows and whatnot, and you can make your own TV tropes page for your own stuff. So I made one for the Asgosverse, and I'm in the process of making different pages for every single entry of the Asgosverse. So I have the main page, and then I have pages for original Ascos, one for Lavender, and one for the Ascos First shorts right now. And I'm working on doing ones for the other ones as well. So yeah. Not mentioned here, but it says on the AO3 that it says here that I have an AO3. On the AO3 is the Ascos First Fic collection. It's a collection of, like, fanfics, like proper fanfics. Collection of proper fanfics that are all set within the Ascos First. As I said before, the Amog DLC is one of them. The other ones, there's one called Facial Recognition. Facial Recognition is basically after Project Pandora, Peter and Basil reunite, and it's cute. Another one is called The Last Zorian, which is based upon Decibel from Pokemon Lavender, and like his whole backstory. There's another one called Controller Disconnected, which is Grimace and Nico and like how their stuff developed. And then there's the other one, which is called Level Up. And Level Up is both Basil is like recovering from like the news that his brother is quote unquote dead. And so the first half is like Basil getting over Peter's death. The second half is Peter is back to life now, and he's creating Project Matamalia. So so there is fanfictions which are kind of canon, but you don't really need to read them if you don't want to, so... Before we leave, I have this, which is basically the story of Celis Fowl, but abridged. If you remember, I did Short 2 abridged and Short 8 abridged. This is Celis Fowl's backstory abridged. It's not much of a spoiler, I just thought it was funny, so we're gonna play it now.
My name is Linus, I am a poet, and I'll travel this region just to show it. I'm sad because I have writer's block. I'm going to talk to the king because I hear he's nice. Vale, never mind, he fucking died. Uh-oh, people think I'm the sussy imposter. Time for me to die, I guess. You shouldn't kill me because Bird Jesus will save me.
How dare you bring Bird Jesus into this? Get wrecked, lol.
Hey guys, Jesus Bird sent me to save this guy's life because he is not the imposter.
Fuck, I guess I don't need to kill him anymore. Anyway, have fun. I'm going to go and colonize a region and maybe bully some lesbians.
You're cool. Can we be friends?
Lol, sure.
To be continued.
It will be continued in Pokemon Edelweiss, so yeah. Honestly, that's all I have. So, Q&A segment. Go and ask some questions, everyone. Yeah, the fanfics are basically side stories. So again, like, you don't have to read them, as I said, but if you want to read them, they add, like, extra context to stuff. So, like, for example, adding extra context to Grimace and Nico, adding extra context to Decibel, adding extra context to, like, what happened to Peter. Yeah, Q&A segment, go and ask some questions. And don't ask me when does Edelweiss release, because... no, I'm not gonna answer that. I'll answer when Edelweiss releases at the end. I'll tell you at the end. Just do other questions first. Does Edelweiss have DLC planned? Yes, it does. Wait, I need to think what the DLC is. So, Edelweiss has a main story, and then it has the post-game, where the post-game isn't like its own story. So the post-game is called A New Story. Not like a actual, like, you know, in games where you get new story. It's not like a starts from the beginning, but it's got extra stuff. It's the post-game, but it's called A New Story. And then there's a quote-unquote DLC, which is called what's it called? It's called... I'm trying to remember what it's called now. It has an actual name. I was gonna say it's called Beyond Infinity, but actually wait, it's Eventide. It's called Eventide. Yeah, so there's a DLC called Eventide, which basically, it introduces this new legendary, and it's basically, like, to cap off, like the story of Edelweiss, and like that's like the ending. That's like the true ending. Like if you don't want to watch that, then like A New Story is the ending, I suppose. So basically, there's a main plot, and then there's like the post game, which is like it's a new story, so it's called A New Story. So yeah. Ask me some more questions, please. I'm desperate. You know what, well, like, send me some questions, because I need to go have a drink, so I'll be back. I'm just grabbing some water. I'm still here, hang on. Okay. Hi, I have some water now. Okay. Bottle of water. Sad face. Okay, well, most of the questions I'd have I'd probably asked you during one of our random talks on the Delwis channel or accidentally make you rethink law. I mean, ask me a question so I can have an answer to the question logged live on stream so I don't have to answer the question later. Make my job easier, please. I just thought, I mean, you two are the only guys here, so I will say that the thing at the end is me revealing Edelweiss's release date. But I didn't actually put a proper release date, I just put this year, so... Any plans for Malavod? Don't ask me, ask Inky, so... Ask the creator of Malavod. Malavod is like, it's the post game for his region, which is called Yengu. This is why you need to do more cross-promotion. I probably should have. I probably should have like made a community post saying, hey, I'm doing a live stream. Too late now, but... I mean, is it too late? Can I just like redo this whole thing? Can I like pretend like I didn't do this stream and then stream it again? And just go through the PowerPoint again? Just do it again? I think we kind of were, but not like fully. Can you reveal any plans post Edelweiss? I already said that one of the options is that I'm gonna do a mini-series called Grace Adia, which is based upon Wyatt and Colton. Other ideas is that I was gonna revive Crystal Desires, I was gonna reboot Show the Stars, I'm probably gonna do SSC Shell after Edelweiss. Ace of Hearts, like the proper Ace of Hearts, is also probably gonna be after Edelweiss. Yeah. Should I do the direct again? It'd be funny. Pretend like you didn't see the first one. I mean, the only thing is that I won't have the second screen next time. Unless I do it like tomorrow. Or like later today, but then it's getting a bit late and I'll be annoying the people I live with, so... But yeah, many things are going to be happening after Edelweiss. I'll be finally free of the Askelspheres. Because, Edelweiss is the end of the Askelspheres, quote-unquote, the end, because, again, Grace Adia is a thing. Fair lady, I'm not going to talk about the thing you DM'd me about. It's not going to happen. It's not happening. It's not becoming a video. I don't know what that's going to become. It might be like a comic or something. I'll find an excuse. Wait, did you ever actually never invite us to the Shanda Library account? I was probably thinking about Euroverse. I think we all have access to Euroverse, or at least the mods do. Oh yeah, other things. Euroverse exists. It's like a collaborative thing where like everyone has their own region, and Ascos and Delis are part of that. Not including Frivo, because Frivo's not in Europe. That's why it's called Euroverse, because it's all countries in Europe. Frivo technically doesn't count, but it's kind of like a honorable mention. Yeah, some of the stuff that was gonna release on Euroverse might end up releasing on Shanda Library. We're not entirely sure yet. Or like, other way around, the Shanda Library stuff might be on Euroverse. So yeah. I'm part of a YouTube network. Not really, but I don't get paid to be on the network. You know what, I'm gonna see if I've got anything else to like show before we go on to the final part, because I feel like I've probably missed something. Jaydreamer dies live on stream. Jaydreamer dies live on stream. I hope you feel better soon. No, I just like swallowed some air. I swallowed some air, so... No, I just said I swallowed some air, I'm fine. I choked on the air. CD55 has returned for revenge. You know what, Whee! Hey, you know Raywood? Let's do the dub now. The Delos grass starter, Audrey gets it. Like, she has that and also the pseudo legendary. I didn't include the grass starter because I've not redrawn that art yet. It's like I'm redrawing the art alphabetically, but also I gave up on like I got to letter H and then I gave up and then started doing it randomly. But I got to like I was doing it alphabetically and the grass starter starts with a Y, so it would be like one of the last ones I did. So I didn't include Yick stuff. But no, Audrey gets the grass starter. Anyway, Raywood. Let's read Raywood. This is chapter 1. So episode 1 of the dub would be chapter 1 plus chapter 2. So a bit like Show the Stars, how like that was like 2 chapters per episode. But this is longer than Show the Stars, so... So, we get introduced to Sven, shy, quiet Norwegian. So, how was your break? Me and my dad went to Seoul. Seoul? Yeah. I know how to say it, I'm just having a moment. Miki Rikari, your typical rich and popular girl, and we have Azusu Takashi, cold exterior, warm interior. So these are the guys I'm gonna be with for the next few years. This is Haruka Kamei, refers to herself as a weeb. Nagai Hiromi doesn't know what personal space is. Hi! Oh, hello. Slam. Alright, maggots, listen up. I will be your class teacher. Miss Bryony came to school drunk. Now, I don't want any damn funny business because I'm not paid enough for this crap. Is she genuinely teaching whilst drunk? Again? Knock knock. Am I late? Nomura Ren tends to be late. A lot. Poor thing. Raywood Academy, a regular school in the middle of nowhere town called Raywood. Many sorts of people from different walks of life live here, whether they be rich or poor. The town may look ordinary on the outside, but within the shadows lurks something far more sinister. But the citizens of Raywood are too oblivious. Well, I guess that I will have to teach them how this world functions. Ooh. We'll do the rest of the chapter as well. Later in the cafeteria. Oh, this looks good. I should probably grab some tea. Ah! Oh shoot, I'm so sorry! Let me get you a paper towel. Are you okay? That tea was really hot. No, it's okay. This is so boring. Oh wow, underage smoking. Still bored. I had this drunk teacher all morning and now this boring lunch. No one cares about me. No one introduced themselves. Oh well, it's probably better this way. Well, this is going to be another boring year. I just need to get home. Well, at least the food is good. Huh? I saw him in class. What is he doing? Is he drawing? Not gonna lie, Japan's not that bad. Damn, he's looking this way. How can I draw that? Huh, he doesn't see me. Let's see how he likes this. Huh? Vroom! Ah! I wonder. Yeah, oh, he was drawing. He's pretty good, I'll give him that. Chances are that he'll come back for this, that should be. You're such an idiot, Sven. I'll be more careful next time. Hey, I know that guy. Takashi, right? That's how chapter 1 ends. Back to the PowerPoint. Shush. No, but the Raywood dub is probably... I'm gonna start working on that soon, I think, alongside Edelweiss, because it's not as much work as Edelweiss. Main priority at the moment is to finish the current OC snippets, and then I will start working on Edelweiss. Edelweiss, episode 1, I've already written and recorded, I just need to edit it, so episode 1 is, like, existing. Episode 1 is, like, best way to describe it is, like, in Frivo and in Original Ascos, I had the episodes where I talked about, you know, I did the geography and environments, I did the towns and locations. Those were 2 separate episodes. Those episodes have now been combined into 1. So those are all 1 episode now. That's what the first episode of Delvis is. Edelweiss, sorry. So we have talking about the geography, talking about the locations. So it's basically geography and locations. Speaking of which, I could probably just bring up the thumbnail for that. I can show you that. So the thumbnail might be changed, probably will be, but there you go, Pokemon Edelweiss Geography and Locations. And then I'm considering potentially making an episode that's about the characters, because originally, like, there was, you know, the story and characters episode, but I wanted to do a separate one for the characters so I could establish, like, you know, this is so-and-so, this is what they're about, yada yada, you know? Okay, what's some other stuff I can show? Again, I said that Edelweiss is basically, it's the chronological end to the Ascosverse. Like, chronologically there's nothing after Edelweiss, and Edelweiss is supposed to be like the finale. Like, everything past that point is like kind of spin-off material. So, Edelweiss is the end, and that's gonna make me feel a bit weird. Because I've been working on the Ascosverse for like 5 years now. So, it's gonna feel a bit weird, but once we get there, I'm hopefully optimistic. Like, I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic, that's the word. I'm cautiously optimistic that it's gonna be like a good ending. It's gonna end, like, in a good way. I guess the best way to explain it is that the ending's gonna be a bit bittersweet, because, I mean, obviously it's like the end of an era. It's an end of an era for, like, this channel and for me as a person. So, I want to, like, give it justice, you know? I went through concept art earlier. I might show some more, because there's a bit. So, I already showed this art, which is, you know, all the original, like, artwork for the main characters. Tristan is the one who changed the most. You know, here's some Pokemon. Here's some concept art for Alora and Haley, because Alora and Haley are supposed to be important in Dallas. And also, this is the professor. This is Donna Cherry. So this is like old concept art, man. So yeah. I'll have to shut that because otherwise I'll be just going to spoilers, so... I'm trying to think of something else I can say that's not going to be like a mega spoiler. Do you want to see the old versions of the Delwis map? You want to see how many versions of this I went through? This is the first one. Like, it used to look like this, it used to actually be like that direction. The 11 Islands is the like the post-game location that I was talking about. Here's all the other versions. So this was like a detailed version with like loads of like buildings and stuff on it. Here's another one in the style of Heart Gold Soul Silver. This was like a more updated one. Here's a even more updated one. And here's this is essentially what the current map looks like, but I've like edited it a little bit. I've changed like the names of stuff. Totally, you know, there was like a hole in the ground right there. That's, yeah, that was added for no reason in particular. Oh yeah, this is a concept I was gonna do. Let's see if this video wants to play itself. It's playing itself on the wrong screen, so that's not useful. This is a concept I wanted to try. So I will show you the first video of it because it's like a set of YouTube shorts that I was considering on doing. So this is like in the crater something lurks. Nothing lurks in the crater. It totally... Will it help you or will you hurt? I don't know. Because there's nothing down there, totally. I actually no, I will say what's down there. Valiquish is down there, that's where Valiquish is. Obviously. But yeah.
Hello and welcome to Pokemon Edelweiss. Pokemon Edelweiss is a Pokemon project set inside the lovely Delwas region, based upon the country of Portugal. Throughout these series of videos, I'm going to be explaining several characters that feature inside of the overall project that is going to happen at some point in 2024. We're going to be going through an A to Z of every single character inside of Edelweiss, or at least the ones that can fit the letters. Not a lot of the letters actually fit. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video series, and please like, comment, and subscribe to follow me along on this journey. Hello!
But yeah, that's the first, like, the starting YouTube short, and then the rest of it is going to be going through the A to Z of Edelweiss. And I've also done episode 1 of A to Z of Edelweiss, which is... It's not letting me show you it, so I will have to load it up. There we go, there's the first one.
The A to Z of Pokemon Edelweiss. A is for Audrey. Audrey Xavier is a sensible 16-year-old girl who is the daughter of the champion Saphira. She thinks realistically and fails to rise to the challenge as the odds are stacked against her. She also wishes to make a name for herself, separate from her famous mother. By the end of the story, Audrey learns to be more open and daring, as well as finally standing up to her mother. On Audrey's team, she uses a Glimora, a Scrafty, a Colspress, a Hydancy, a Favengo, and a Rhinova. I hope you're looking forward to meeting
Well, that's outdated. That's outdated, whoops. Her team changed, it's not that anymore. So, whoops. But yeah, I might make that into a series. I, like, stopped at the first one, so... I also have, like, I'll show you, like, the notes that I have right now. This isn't all of them, but I have, like, these planned out. These are, like, the cutscenes, which I might delete some of these, I might add more. But these are... Nothing is in these text files, by the way. It's just, like, a short, it's just a short, like, you know, Audrey and Emmett have a small chat. That's all it says in the text document. But the actual script is, like, in my... I use an app called Scrivener. Yeah, I did run out of certain things for certain letters, like, there wasn't really anything for X or Z, so... And there was kind of nothing for Q. Yeah, so I've been planning Delwis for a while, like, this is all empty folders, to be honest. It's like I have, like, this is not the actual project file. Like, I'm probably gonna upgrade to Premiere Pro 24 soon. So I'm gonna use 2024 edition of Premiere Pro. Again, the cutscenes. These are all like the Pokemon that show up, so like these are all the files of the Pokemon showing up. Ignore that one. Ignore that one. Battle Villa, what's that? I'm not telling you. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into the rest of the Ascosfers folder because I'll probably end up like showing a spoiler or something, but what's that Dust Moving Charisma? No. No, totally not. It's not important. It's totally not important. Okay, you know, now that I'm like remembering all this stuff to talk about, I could actually like add it into the, you know, add it into the direct if I do it again, so come down here. Thank you. A thing I've been stuck on the thing I've been stuck on is trying to figure out what song should play at the end of Edelweiss, because it's going to be like the final credits I do, and like one idea I've had is that like the credits are going to credit everyone who's like ever helped with the Ascosfers, so it'd have to be a song long enough for that, but I'm also thinking of like making there be like stuff in the credits, like there's going to be like, I guess like the Ascosfers Shorts credits where there was like images in it. I might do that for Edelweiss. It'll be like, oh, this is what happened to the characters afterwards. Really cool, you know? And also, like, it's kind of, like, on theme for, like, the credits to show what happens afterwards, but I won't say why. Speaking of songs, I'm, like, considering, releasing, like the Ascosfers Shorts credits and the credits for Pandora. I'm thinking of releasing as separate videos, because then you can just listen to the songs on their own without having to like go to those videos and listen to them there. Because I did a cover of Light of My Life, and I did a cover of Love Like You, but like a shorter version. I might put them on JD Studios, I'm not sure. Yeah. Any more questions from the people that are watching? Like, ask me a question that's like, is kind of spoilery, but also I can still talk about it a bit. Yeah, I'm expecting like the JD Studios stream to go a bit better than this, because it'll be like my first stream over there, so I have no idea how many people show up, but why is Grimace? I already explained his backstory. I have no idea what that is, so I don't know what Kaseki is. Hey, how about I show you like a plot relevant thing, and then I just not explain it, I just show the thing on screen. There's the thing on screen. That's all you're seeing. Just know this is an important item, and then we move on. Oh yeah! Forget that X and Y has a song at the end. It also has the song in different languages. Honestly, I don't remember XY that much, but yeah, I remember now. I don't know if Kaseki really fits with the theme of Edelweiss. I'll have to read over the lyrics again. Lyrics in English. You and I were born right here in the same world for this one brief life, we're beneath the same sky. The great flow of time, the wide expanse of space, we're so gonna show. Maybe. You know what? Yeah, that's possible. I might do that one. But then, you know, one of the ending credit songs I'm considering is that I just sing Celestial, but then I might get copyright struck by Ed Sheeran. So. But yeah, honestly, I think I'll just end the stream. Yeah, I might try this again at some point. We'll stream it on GD Studios, pretend like this one didn't exist. Okay, so, end of the stream, let's go. But wait, there's one more thing! Doc said that audio was weird, so let me actually fix that. Okay, let's see if this is loud enough. It probably should be loud enough now. Oh, Jesus! Sorry for whatever that was. I have no idea what that was. The audio just glitched out. I don't know why it did that. Apologies if you got like... Yeah, I don't even know if you heard that. Apologies if you did.
Welcome.
Okay, now it's working.
It seems you have reached a lovely end. It appears you have chosen to see the cycle continue. Quite curious. Your wish will be granted. See you soon.
There we go. Edelweiss is happening this year. I realise now that I should have put a proper release date, but it's happening this year. I will say, at the latest, it'll be uploaded on June 2nd, which is my 22nd birthday. And is also the 4-year anniversary of Frivo coming out, but we ignore that. So yeah, at the latest, June. At the earliest, it'll be after February. I know that. It'll definitely be after February, so it'll be earliest, like, April, maybe. I'm just gonna say June. Sometime in June. So yeah, that is the stream. Thank you for coming along. And now you will erase all memory you had of the stream happening, because I'll probably do it again, so...
Welcome.
Oh, I just played the clip again, well done me. There we go. Woohoo! Okay. Thank you for coming along, guys. Yeah, the loud buzzing, that was on my end too. I fixed it.